Recordings in progress. It's very exciting. I was going to start today's experiment by sharing that I may be a bit more bland, a bit more inward focused, a bit more than my usual convivial self. And just hearing that wonderful little Zoom lady, recordings in progress. Hey, I'm old, doesn't take much anymore. Anyway, hi there. Joseph Karab is here, listening to John Renborn. And I was shocked to discover there are people who don't know who John Renborn is. So go out and learn about him. He's probably best known, well, yeah, I think he's probably best known as a medieval and Renaissance flautist. Really did a lot to pioneer the revival of music from that era. And just above and beyond that, he's a phenomenally gifted guitarist. Anyway, today's topic, reading, is writer's block versus writer's stuck. Now notice that one is possessive, the other one isn't. How are we defining writer's block versus writer's stuck? Okay, I'm going to tell you. Stuck. You know where the story's going and not how to get there. Block. You have no idea what's going on with your story, are dead in the water, are 2 periods and a semicolon away from circle filing the damn thing. I've worked with a lot of writers, plus my own vast experience writing. And one of the things that I've come to find out, hang on, I'm going to increase the size of the Zoom window. Oh my God, there he is. One of the things I've come to find out is most writers think they're blocked, when they're really stuck at. And to me, it is a very significant difference, because if you are stuck, you actually know where the story's going. You know where the next plot point is. You know what's going to happen. You just don't know how to get there. More correctly, you don't know how to get the story there. Okay, easy enough to deal with. And actually, I've dealt with this a bit in the previous 3 experiments. Let the characters do the work. I gave the example of I actually will talk to the character. I will eavesdrop. I will listen. If I know that the character is in a scene going for a drive, I'll get in the car with them, or the truck or whatever. Not so much the airplane, but I will go there with them. I will be with them. And by doing that, I get to communicate to them, if not verbally, if not pensically. That means thought. I'll just, get closer to them some way or another. Sometimes that means allowing myself to feel things that I don't like to feel, or I don't want to feel. Earl Pangiosi in Empty Sky, he was a fascinating character to develop and create and write. But I had to find the aspect of him that made him human so that I could do it, which doesn't come out till the end. Teaser. Anyway, writer stuck. You're stuck. You know where the story's going to go. You don't know how to get there. A lot of techniques that I use, and I'm going to share them with you. As I said, get closer to the character. Another technique that comes right out of basically psycholinguistics is go to where you know the next plot point is in the story. Just go there. And then go, what happened right before here to get me here? What happened right before this plot point so that this plot point could happen here. Okay, you got that. Now you're back one. Now you go, what happened before that? What happened before that? And you keep on going back, back, back until you get to the point where you are, quote unquote, stuck. That not only comes out of psycholinguistics, but if you have a background in mathematics or hand magic, a good magician and a good mathematician work very, very similarly. When they want to achieve something, they won't go, here I am, how do I get there? They will go, that's where I want to be. How did I get there? One step back at a time. So if you ever get a chance to study or learn or talk with professional magicians, one of the things they will explain when they are developing their prestidigitation techniques, et cetera, is they'll step back and they'll go, what had happened before this? What had happened before that? What happened before that? Mathematicians, they know the outcome that they want. They know the resolution to a problem or an equation. And they don't go, geez, how am I over here? And how did I get over there? If you're familiar with basic, high school algebra, you know the concept of completing the square. You know how to determine square roots using geometric forms, using a circle. And even if you don't worry about it. Go look it up. It's really actually quite simple. You don't need a lot of advanced mathematics. You don't even need a lot of advanced algebra to do it. But you had to get there and come back. So that's technique 2. I know where I have to be, what happened right before that to get me there, what happened right before that to get me there, before that, and now you're 3 steps back, 4 steps back, 5 steps back. All of a sudden you are where you have the connective tissue, if you will, from where you got stuck, I don't know what's supposed to happen next, to where the next plot point is, and you have that continuity, you can go there. Another technique that might be useful when you're doing these things is go off to the side. If you're writing a story which is primarily in first person and you don't know what this character, your main character, first person character is doing, okay, get another character on the set and have them talk to the main character. It may not be something you actually put in your finished piece, but what happens is this character, your main character, can try to explain to this secondary character what's going on. How come they're here and not there? That could be very useful. Along those lines, slightly different, talk to your story with someone, talk it over with someone who's not reading it, someone who's not involved in the creation of it. I find this amazingly useful. When I share what I'm writing about as I'm writing it, all of a sudden I get more ideas. Oh, this, oh, that, oh, okay, I didn't realize I should put that. Oh, okay, wow. And boom, I've got the thread, the narrative line is developed all the way to the next plot point from wherever I was stuck. Blocked. Blocked to me is radically different. Blocked is you don't have a clue. One of the things I do when I get blocked, and I hesitate to use that term actually, is I go back to the point where I know the story worked. What was the last place that it worked? That I was just cooking. I was right. Oh my goodness, get the heck out of my way. My fingers were cracking along. And I get to that point and I go, okay, let's say it's in a paragraph. I got to that paragraph. What happened right after that paragraph? And I can do that and find the point where the story went, forgive the expression, left or south or wherever, went awry, as opposed to a bourbon. And I can figure out what went wrong, what wasn't working. That gives me the ability to go back to where I know it was working and begin making changes. One of the ways this often happens to me, and again, I'm going to hesitate to use the word block because there are a lot of ways to get out of it, is I'll be writing, and all of a sudden the story will just take this bizarre turn for some reason. It could be because I personally have lost focus on the story. It could be because I personally have other things on my mind and I can't pay attention to the story. It can be that I've lost interest in what's happening now in the story. This goes back to toing and froing, and you can find out on my blog. When I find that I've lost interest in what's happening now, that is a sure sign to me that the reader's going to lose interest too. And if it's not interesting to me, it will not be interesting to the reader. I have discovered this many, many, many times, that I've written something which is, to me, I just need to put this filler in. And readers get back to me and said, I skimmed that whole part. Oh, okay. I got back into the story where it picked up again over here. Oh, okay. That's where I wanted the story to be, and I thought I had to do something to get there. No. Just get rid of all that stuff. If you're losing interest, the reader's going to lose interest. So stop and just get to the next interesting part. Joyce Carol Oates, of all people. Joyce Carol Oates? Is that her name? Anyway. Yeah, Joyce Carol Oates. I got it right. Anyway, hey, you know, we're like this. I go double dating and everything. She says, write about the singular events. Write about the exciting stuff. Don't write about the mundane stuff. Don't write about the stuff which is window dressing, unless the window dressing is significant to the story, of course. But just write about the significant events. So if you're experiencing writer's block, fine, okay. Don't punish yourself. Be encouraging. You know, honor yourself. Let me write the next interesting piece. Let me write an interesting piece. Because after all, you may want the story to flow linearly, perhaps, or that the plot line or the timeline, the through line needs to be linear. However, you can write in different parts of the story and then throw them all together. I do that a lot. I will realize a chapter needs something and needs to be pointed to. I'll create this chapter and then write stuff back to point to it. Let's say I'm gonna write chapter 17, which is way out there because I'm really actually writing chapter 5. So I'll write chapter 17 and know I have to get to it, which gives me information, excuse me, to put in chapters 5, 9, 11, and 14. You don't have to write sequentially. You do have to write the interesting parts, the exciting parts, the singular parts. What makes you interested in the story? If you are writing something and it is boring you and you can't wait to get through it because, God, let me get to something interesting, take it out. It's not going to work. It's going to cause a block. So there you go. I hope that was useful to you. Writer stuck versus writer's block. You don't have to own either of them. Take care. He tries not to look at where the stop button is, but I'm going to. There it is. Doodle.